All right, guys. Champions League is back. Quarterfinal predictions, first leg, and I want you guys to know that I predicted 7 out of 8 of the last around 16 matches correctly. So I think I'm feeling good about this one. I'm feeling good. Now, just going through the matches, right? Aston Villa, PSG, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Barcelona, Dortmund, and then Bayern, Inter. Now, just looking at the 4 matches, the most difficult game I think to call is the Bayern Inter game. Now, because you know of Bayern's power, you know of Inter's defensive strength, but Inter can also attack with the best of them, right? They can attack when they need a goal. Inter can get a goal from anywhere. They're one of the most well-balanced teams. They don't need Lautaro and Marcus Thuram to score. Anybody can score on that team. So let's go through the games. Let's see who wins the first leg, and I guess that will determine who probably wins the entire tie. Now, the first game is the biggest game of all, right? The most high-profile game, I would say, in the quarterfinals is Real Madrid versus Arsenal. Now, this is probably the second most difficult matchup to call because Arsenal obviously had some injuries. Some guys are coming back. I think maybe the only first 11 starting player that they're missing is 2 actually. Gabriel just got injured, and Kai Havertz. Now, I'm not the biggest Kai Havertz fan, but having Kai Havertz over Mikel Merino is definitely a plus for them, right? Having Saka back is a plus for them. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say Ancelotti will play probably Camavinga. Yeah, because Fernandinho is injured, so probably Camavinga or what's the guy's name? The little guy, the Spanish. What's the Spanish left back's name? Whatever his name is, Fran Perez or Fran something. But it's going to be one of those 2, right? I can't lie, guys. It's barbecue chicken regardless. If Saka wants to cook, he's cooking either of them, right? So that's. And then if you look at the right side, I don't think Valverde is playing there because I want to say Tchouaméni's suspended for this match, so he has to play Valverde in the midfield, right? He can't either you play Valverde in the midfield or you play Tchouaméni in the midfield. But either way, it's going to be either Vasquez or Fran Gonzalez, Fran something. That's his name. Fran Garcia. That's his name. It's going to be one of those 2, right? Saka is cooking Fran or Tchouaméni. And I don't know about Martinelli, but Vasquez is getting cooked by whoever's on that flank because he's just a bad defender. But what it really comes down to for me in this game is whose attack is superior, right? And it's obviously Madrid's. Madrid give you so many chances to score, but Arsenal are so deficient in the finishing department that I don't even know if they'll take the chances that come to them, right? You think about Arsenal on the fast break. Arsenal is probably one of the worst top teams in world football at fast break football. Like counter-attacking, they're probably one of the worst teams. They're so slow. You look at probably the pace in their team, it's either Saka or Declan Rice, probably the only ball carriers in that team. Martinelli is obviously quick, but his technical ability is so lacking that I can't even trust the guy in an open space situation. So for me, I know Arsenal's at home this game. You're probably looking at a 2-1 Arsenal. I know, and it sounds crazy to say it, but you're probably looking because one thing that also can really do against Madrid if they need to is sit back and soak up pressure. Can Madrid sit back and soak up pressure, especially with going against those fullbacks 90 minutes? I don't know. You're probably looking at a Saka goal or a set piece because Madrid are terrible at set pieces. A Saka goal, a set piece, Rice whipping it in, Merino head, something like that, right? I expect also to score. I expect Madrid to score. I haven't seen many games of Madrid just going scoreless, right? So, and then you're looking at the back lines. If you're playing Kivio or White, I mean, that's barbecue chicken for Mbappe regardless, right? So they're cooking regardless. I don't think you're going to keep Madrid out. It's a matter of can Madrid's defense hold up against what Arsenal can offer. You know what? I'm gonna go 1-1. I know it's a cop out. I'm gonna go 1-1, 1-1 or 2-2, like a draw. That's my prediction for the first leg. Now let's go to the matchup of the quarterfinals for me is Bayern Inter. Now, I've said before how prolific Bayern's attack is. I've said before how dangerous or how stifling Inter's defense is. Musiala, I don't know if Musiala is playing because I saw him come off against was it Augsburg or whoever they played it on the weekend. He came off maybe the 60th minute. I think he had a hamstring, so he's definitely not playing this game. It would be an incredible recovery if he came back. So you're probably looking at Thomas Müller in the 10 with Sané and Olise. It's a tough one to call because as good as Inter's defense is, I can't see Bayern going scoreless, right? It's not one of those games that you just don't see Bayern going without scoring a goal. For that reason, let's check who's at home for this first game. Bayern's at home. Bayern's at home for the first game. So I'm going to go with the Bayern win. I'm going to go with the Bayern win, probably 2-1, because I also don't trust Bayern's defense. I believe Inter will get chances, and I believe Inter will take chances. As I said at the beginning of the video, they're one of the most prolific teams from around the entire pitch, right? They have the two strikers that can score. Çalhanoğlu, free kicks, penalties, long shots, he can score. Barola's a creative machine. Mkhitaryan can come up with the odd goal. DeMarco, if it's Augusto, if it's Dumfries, if it's Pavard, they can score from anywhere on the pitch, right? So, and defense is not Bayern's strong suit. You see they concede a lot of chances on the fast break. They concede a lot of silly mistakes from Kim, Upamecano, Eric Dyer. There's always a chance to score against Bayern. So, but I do think at home, Allianz Arena, it's very rare that they lose at home in a knockout game. Or even in general. I remember the last time they've lost a home game in the Champions League. So I'm going to go with the Bayern win. 2-1 probably is the safest bet in that tie. Now, Paris Saint-Germain against Aston Villa is probably the most underwhelming draw. I don't want to disrespect Aston Villa. Obviously, they've worked out to get here. They're a good team. They're probably going to make Champions League again just off of league form. But PSG right now, guys, unbeaten in Ligue 1, just knocked out Liverpool. They're firing on all cylinders. I know they concede some silly chances here and there, but I think they take their foot off the gas in the French league or in French competitions because it's just so easy for them. When it comes to the actual Champions League, when you're facing top teams that can cause you more trouble, they take it a little bit more seriously. And this team is very balanced. They have an incredible midfield, probably the best or second best midfield, maybe with Barcelona in world football, right? I look at Aston Villa. I rate Tielemans, but if you're gonna come in that game with John McGinn and Asensio, maybe not having the legs to keep up with PSG. I mean, you probably have to start John McGinn. You probably have to start Boubacar Kamara or Andre Onana, which they're good physical players, but technically they're not gonna be able to compete with what PSG has to offer. And then don't even get me started on Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Barcola, Doué. There's just too much firepower, right? And Aston Villa's defense, if you're going to field Mings, if you're going to field Maatsen, they don't have defenders that can stop any of those guys. None of the defenders can stop any of those guys, right? Konsa's the best defender, but I don't know if he can stop any of those guys, right? So you're looking at a tough matchup. I don't see a way Aston Villa win this game or the tie in general. I'm probably looking at a 3-0, 3-1 first leg PSG win. I don't want to disrespect Unai Emery and Aston Villa and what they've accomplished so far in the Champions League, but look at that team. Look at that midfield. There's just too much. Now, against Donnarumma and Marquinhos, you always have a chance, right? Rashford on the counterattack, Asensio playing a through ball. there's always Morgan Rogers carrying. Now that's one thing I can give Aston Villa, right? If you can carry Morgan Rogers with the ball through that midfield, there's no chance Vitinha, there's no chance that João Neves, there's no chance that Fabian Ruiz can even hold the guy. They're not fast enough, strong enough, quick enough. They can't. If he gets ahead of steam, there is no stopping him, right? If Declan Rice couldn't even do it, what chance do these guys have doing it, right? So that's Aston Villa's best chance. Get Rodgers on the ball, get Tielemans on the ball, play in between the lines, and have him drive at your goal. You always have a chance against Donnarumma and Marquinhos. But I'm still gonna go with PSG 3-0, 3-1, and I think that might effectively end the tie. I would like to see Aston Villa put up a fight, maybe 2-1, go back to Villa Park. You know, try to steal the tie there, but it's gonna be such a tough call against this PSG team. Lastly, Barcelona Dortmund. Now this is gonna be a good game because Dortmund have had an uptick in their league form. I think they just beat Freiburg. Was it 4-0, 4-1, something like that? So they're starting to feel good about themselves, right? But this is the worst team to play when you're feeling good about yourself because Barcelona will make you look silly. They will embarrass you. Now, Real Betis played a great game against Barcelona over the weekend, but that's a really informed Betis side, right? That's a really informed. Dortmund are picking up steam, but they're not as informed as maybe that Betis side is. So it's gonna be tough to see a way. Just look at the lineups. There is nobody on Dortmund that can even put a stop to what Barcelona wants to do. Right? Your left back, your right back. I don't know if it's going to be Riersen, Couto. I don't know if it's going to be Bensebaini or Schlotterbeck at left. Whoever you put in there is getting cooked by Rafinha and Yamal. Right? You put Emre Can in the midfield. You put Salih Ochen in the midfield. You put Sabitzer in the midfield. They're going to get cooked by De Jong and Pedri. And Lewandowski's going to cook if you give him a chance. Like, they're so outmatched that the only thing that Dortmund fans can really hope for is you get Bino Gittins on a counterattack. You get Adeyemi on a counterattack. Guirassy is a great finisher. He gets that's the only thing that I can see happening for Dortmund because they're so outmatched in every part of the field. Every single position they're outmatched. So Barcelona's going to win this game for me and comfortably. Now, Barcelona will give you chances. So you could probably see Dortmund scoring 1, maybe even 2. We saw with the Benfica game twice. Barca will give you a lot of chances, right? That high line, especially against speedsters. I think Bayern might actually play. Maybe not Gittins. Maybe Bayern will play. But either way, speedsters on that high line, they will time it right once in a while. And if you're able to get Julian Brandt some time on the ball to play it in behind Adeyemi, Bayer, Gittins, they will get a chance. But Barcelona they're so good. This is the best team in the world right now. This has been the best team in the world in 2025. So, it's probably a 3-1 Barcelona. Comfortable. And maybe it's like 3-0 and Dortmund score at the end to, take something back to the Signal Iduna Park. But that's pretty much it, right? So, yeah, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at Real Madrid probably 2-1, 3-1. No, I'm confusing that with PSG. Real Madrid and Arsenal is probably going to be 1-1, 2-2. This is me being generous to Arsenal. I think their defense is incredible. I think it's going to be tough for Madrid to break them down, right? Especially without... It depends if Modric plays. Because if Modric plays, then you might have some chances to break them down. If he doesn't play, I can't see Tchouaméni and Valverde, being able to break down that defense, right? Like, it's such a good defense. So a draw is what I'll go for that match. PSG, Aston Villa. I'm going to go with PSG 3-1, 3-0, somewhere around there. Bayern versus Inter. Bayern at home. Bayern 2-1, somewhere around there. 2-1, 1-0 maybe. And then Barcelona, Dortmund. Barca 3-0, 3-1, something around there. But yeah, I'm basically going for a home win for every team other than maybe Arsenal. I think it's going to be it's such a tough one to call with Arsenal because if they bring their finishing boost, they can score 2 against Madrid. I promise you guys that they can score 2 goals against Madrid if they bring their attacking, firepower. If Saka gets chances, he can take them. I don't know if Courtois is playing. It might be Lunin. They might both be injured. It might be that was it Fernandez, Gonzalez, whoever it was, the keeper that played against Valencia. It might be him. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. It's gonna be interesting games. Next 2 days are gonna be incredible. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about who's gonna win what the scores would be, who wins the overall ties, and I will see you guys at the end of the week when we review the first leg of the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals. Bye.